mCASH is a tool of inclusion, I would call it. Inclusion in, and I'll look at three different paradigms. One, you have merchants today. In fact, our statistics from our office show that we have just about 80,000 merchants who have POS terminals. 80,000. Meanwhile, Smedan tells us there are about 20 million SMEs in the country. So you can imagine only 80,000 is able to receive payments for their goods and services, while you have other millions who are there, either the turnover is too low for banks to give them POS terminals, or the business size is just not really not big enough to really worth the investment in POS terminals. So with mCASH, these millions of SMEs who do have POS terminals can now accept electronic payments. That's one. There's some payment we call micropayments. Even when you use your card on the POS terminal, there are times you want to make a payment of 500 naira, you want to buy a loaf of bread, you want to buy a newspaper, you don't want to begin to take your card out to pay for 500 naira or 1,000 naira. Often we use cash for those things. So we want to bring those ones into the net so that those two can be captured electronically. The third paradigm is it's about those who don't have cards, or who are not really using their cards much. We have about 30 million active cards in the system right now. We're talking of more than 100 million bankable adults. So really, there are many people out there who don't have cards, who need to make electronic payments, but they all have phones. So with mCASH, they can be part of electronic payments, because electronic payments we talk about is all about growing the economy of this country. If you all stick to cash, given the sophistication of today's economy, cash payment is a problem for any economy. The economy cannot grow if we all do cash. I mean, cash does so much damage. So mCASH is here to fill that gap, and it is the first collaboration. It's the first result of a collaboration between the banking industry and the telecom industry. mCASH was put together by banks and the GSM companies, so it's owned by all, and the whole idea is to have it out there, let Nigerians embrace it, so that together we can move this economy forward.
So then how do you plan to implement this framework of banks and telcos playing together?
Incidentally, right from the onset of mCASH, we had a joint meeting. The banks and the telcos sat down together, having identified this gap in the system, and it was very clear in the conversation that, hey, we all need to work together to bridge that gap. For instance, if you look at the people we're talking about, and the kind of payment we're talking about, micropayments, and the fact that there are many people who don't have a bank account or do have cards, they have phones, they have telephones in their hands, so we need the telcos to work with them. And most of those guys have what we call feature phones. These are phones that are not smart. You can't take pictures with them. You know, like the old Nokia 3310. You know, we still have some phones of that nature, many of them in the system right now. Now, most of those people are very used to USSD. You know, where you want to buy airtime, you can just do star something. So mCASH brings that USSD service to everyone. It's so simple to use, so that through USSD, you can actually make payment. And that's why the partnering with telcos came in very, very handy. Banks are handling banking. Telcos are very good with the USSD channel. So together, we've come together, we put mCASH together. We've been supporting it. And really, the two major industries have been working together. mCASH is growing as I speak.
But this is a relaunch. We saw this came on board first time in November 2016.
That's it.
You know, so what are you doing differently this time to avoid the problems from the last launch?
Okay, we did our first launch November 3, I remember, 2016. And between that time and now, mCASH has been growing. We have all the banks on it now. Volume is growing day by day. The number of merchants on it too is growing. The active merchants list is growing. The number of users is growing. Now, within the 2 years, we've learned a lot of experiences. We've seen attempts some fraudsters have made to commit fraud with mCASH. And at every fraud attempt we see, we investigate, and we're able to firm up the whole system just to ensure that it's more secure. So what we have now is much more secure than what we put in place in 2016. We really put in a whole lot of things. For instance, mCASH insurance has proved very, very useful. It is the first payment system in this country that is fully insured. So if you lose money, maybe you're a merchant, you make a sale, your customer has parted and gone with goods, but somehow you didn't find the money in your account for whatever reason. You just call your bank or call NIBSS, we'll immediately return the money to you because we are insured. Return the money and then go and do our investigation. The money is somewhere within the system, we'll find it and put it back into the pool. Or you are a payer who has paid the merchant, and the merchant says he has not seen your money, so he will not give you service. You just call your bank or call NIBSS. We return the money to you so you can pay again, and then we investigate. Because that money is locked within the system, we investigate and get the money back into the pool. We've encountered SIM swap problem Where somebody hijacks, maybe you're out of town for some 3 days, somebody goes to a telco and say, I'm you, and get a new SIM in your number. And then play around with your, maybe he knows your date of birth and some other details, is able to have access to your bank account and begin to spend your money. Now, we've partnered with telcos now within these last 2 years to put control around SIM swap. So no longer can people do that. You can't just grab somebody's phone or go and take another SIM that contains somebody's number and begin to do payment. We have blocked that. Okay. And we've created so much awareness. We have a website, mcash.com.ng, that is very, has a whole lot of information, FAQ on mCASH. We've done all that in the last 2 years, and the result is really good.
So beyond securing the transactions via insurance, and also what are you doing to increase the amount of adoption for this platform? Okay,
in fact, the relaunch we did Tuesday this week is one of the major efforts we are putting in place to create awareness. Because as I speak, mCASH is solid on ground, is working well. We've resolved all the teething problems we had initially. So it's ready for serious use now. That's why we did the relaunch, to create awareness. And if you were there with us on Tuesday, you had all the banks were present, many bank CEOs were there at the event at the hotel. The telcos were there, the CEOs of the telcos were all there. And there were testimonies, keynote speeches. In fact, we had a use case station where we brought about 10 different merchants in different sectors who have been using mCASH to do all sorts of things. For instance, one guy came in demonstrating how they have been using mCASH in the Southeast to dispense electricity credits. So you want to buy credit, just do your star 402, put their code, put the amount and hash, and the system asks you for your meter number. And as soon as you put your meter number and your PIN, you just see on your phone the voucher, the secret code that you need to go and put on your meter at home. So convenient.